Hey there, I'm Melisa Nielsen, and welcome to this week's video. So today I thought I would talk about something that I get questions about a lot, and that is sort of intermingling temperaments, moms, kids, how to discipline, how to talk to kids. And so I thought I would share just, what we teach in our Thinking, Feeling, Willing course when we talk to parents, what we teach in our Parents in Sync course, and just sort of my experience over the last 23 years being a mom who's really been paying attention to temperament, especially for the last, at least the last almost 20. So I just want to say temperament is super important. So here's the thing. Understanding your own temperament, I think, is almost as important, if not more important, than pegging your children. Because here's the thing, you learn more about yourself, and then your relationships with them get better because you're learning more about yourself. For instance, I am choleric. My secondary is sanguine. When I'm out of balance, I try to control things. Like quarantine, y'all, it's driving me crazy because I try to control things. But here's the thing, because I've worked on that aspect of my temperament for the last, almost 10 years, especially like really turning in and really like looking at, why do I like to control things? And really looking at, is this something that's appropriate for me to control or not? So because I've done that work or been doing that work, when it's coming up now, I go, I already did this. Why is it coming up again? But it gives me opportunity to continue to practice, and it gives me opportunity to say, okay, Melisa, you don't need to control this. Breathe deep, walk away. Breathe deep and ask yourself, what are you actually feeling right now? What are you actually feeling right now? And for instance, just a little bit ago, we're packing up our house to move right now. And this was probably some of the last videos that will be in front of everything before we move to a new space. But I've been packing all day, and I sat down on the couch and just to take a breather for a minute, and I started to feel like I wanted to pick on somebody, and so then I even said Samuel, and then I went, why are you bothering him? He's reading a book. Leave that boy alone. And then the whole process of why, and the control starts to come to my head, and I start to remember, hey, wait a minute. It's actually not what I should be doing. I need to leave him be. I need to finish what I'm doing. And then I ask myself, I try to get really still and say, Melisa, what's this really about? Close my eyes, get centered, and go, oh yeah, I'm tired. Maybe I need a snack. And I've been fighting this I burst my eardrum. Don't ask. It's crazy things that happens to this lady. So it's been bothering me, and it had been better, and but my pain medication was wearing off. So I was asking myself, Melisa, what is it that's really bothering you right now? And because that thing that's really bothering me right now is the thing that I need to tend to, so then I don't try to control everything. So I listened. I put my left hand over my heart. Left hand is the hand to do. Put it over your heart, close your eyes, and ask yourself, okay, what is it that's really wrong right now? So then I listened to my body. And I thought, my ear is bothering me. That Tylenol I took 5-6 hours ago is wearing off. So I need to take more Tylenol. And gosh, I could maybe use a snack and some water. And I probably should use the restroom too. So I got up, I went to the restroom, got a snack, and guess what? I breathed, and I didn't want to control things. So if you are somebody who's struggling with control or struggling with lack of being able to do things, doing something, lack of motivation. So my temperament struggles with control. Melancholics generally struggle with control. Phlegmatics and sanguines generally don't struggle with control. They like to have things just so, but it's a very different energy. And if you've been around them all, you know that, hey, that kind of control is different. It feels different. So if that's something that bothers you, or that's something that you're struggling with, just stop. And I think that's really the hardest thing. We were working with our Parents in Sync families this week, and the dad, one of the dads that we're working with, he said, I admit it over and over. I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one who has a hard time stopping, and he's so right, because we kind of get in this almost like righteous indignation place of, I should be able to, and I am the grown up, and all of those things. And then it just keeps building and it keeps going. So it's our job to stop. It's our job to stop and breathe deep. And if you're not having a go at that and you're really struggling, my prayer for you is that you hear me today and you go, okay, I need to do better about that. So here's the thing that really helps me with anything, whether it be controlling or anytime I'm about to go off the rails. If I can get good at feeling it before it gets to that space, then I can back it up. But if I start to go around the bend, like I told you, I was like about to bug Samuel to go do something, even though I was reading and it's Sunday afternoon and he doesn't need to go do anything, I had to stop myself. And then he said, Mom, what? I said, oh, I love you. So reeled it back in, got myself centered. So if you're struggling, I want you to start doing that this week. I want you to stop yourself. Here's the thing. Your kids already think you're nuts. So if you stop mid-sentence, they're not going to care. They're going to say like, are you all right? Like my children will say to me all the time, you okay, Mom? Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm just not going to yell at you right now. Could I get you to do X, Y, and Z instead? Because it's really about connection. So once you understand yourself and your temperament, and then you start trying to decode the people around you, your impulse is going to be to try to control that and to try to use your thoughts about your temperament on them. And really what you need to do instead is look at their temperament and have it coming towards you instead. And whenever we are trying to impose ourselves on others, it doesn't go well. So instead, go the other way. Look at them instead and sort of draw their temperament to you. So if you are, and the one I get the most is melancholic mom, choleric children, or choleric child. Most houses don't have more than one choleric child. Even if I suppose if you had 10 kids, maybe you'd have 2 or 3. But, so that's the one I hear the most. Like, melancholic mom who gets frustrated and she tries to control and she has a yelling problem. And then she has a child that also has this like push me, pull me sort of situation. So I'm going to give you a golden piece of advice and I want you to just take it in. And I know I've said it before. So maybe this is like, the time that it dings for you, or you remember that, hey, wait, she said this to me before. So write it down somewhere. Cholerics will only yield to another choleric or to someone they trust. So if they're not yielding to you and you are having this like battle all the time, you've got to ask yourself, is there a way that I have been showing up that has not been trustworthy? And I'm not talking about mean or, a mom that beats them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about wishy-washy, not following through, not doing the things that you say you're going to, all of those things, not providing the structure that they need. So choleric children need structure. They need structure. They need you to provide that in the beginning and then help them learn how to provide that for themselves. And you'll probably see the choleric children because they're usually go-getters. They'll sort of have a million projects, and your job will be to help them hone those. Help them go, okay, well, let's bring that down here. Tell me how you're going to do it. Whenever my daughter, my youngest, it's also choleric, she'll come to me, and the other day she was like, I want to make this unicorn from this book, and like I said, we're packing, so a lot of handwork stuff has already been packed. I kept some stuff out, but a lot of it's already been packed. So then I had to say, okay, show me your plan. Because especially she's just turned 9, when they get to this place and they have these grand ideas, I want to encourage that. But I also want to help them bring it from up here to paper so that I'm not constantly being the one who's coming up with it, which is okay when they're younger, but you want to sort of help them turn that corner. So with a choleric child, you've got to sort of own your cholericness, even if that's not your temperament. That's not your temperament. You need to put on your choleric hat, and you need to remember that if you want to have things go smoothly with your child in your home, you've got to show up the way they need you to. So, like for me as a choleric mom, then with a melancholic child, I can't show up guns blazing. I can't show up. I can't show up and yell. I can't show up. Well, I can, but it won't do anything. It'll just make the divide greater. I can't show up and ridicule or question. That doesn't mean that I don't discipline. It's all in delivery. You got to know your audience. You have to understand what it is that they need. So a melancholic child does best if you can explain to them what your expectations are from a calm place, a friendly place, a loving place. They will rise to them. When they don't, they feel really crappy about themselves. So the best thing you could do is not discipline right away, if at all possible. Yes, there's going to be times where you're going to have to, you're going to have to. Although I have to tell you off the top of my head right now, unless your house is burning down, I can't imagine. I can't imagine there being a time where you can't just say, okay, I'm going to walk away from this right now because it's not going to go well. And then sort of just give you and your child some space. Then after, when things are calm, when you've had time to mend things, or after they have had enough rest, maybe out on a walk, because melancholics, it's quality time. They really love quality time. It's not quantity time, but it's quality time. So if you have friends that are melancholic, they can see you once a month, as long as it's for like 6 hours. They don't need to see you the rest of the time. And, or shorter bursts, but they would like more quality. So, really think about that with regards to your friends, but also with your children. So it's all about quality time. So they really want that time with you. And so I would, if there was a mishap, something that went awry, I would take them and go for a walk with them and say, listen, remember the other day you got really mad when it didn't go your way and I had asked you to do this. Can you tell me what your thought process was? See that right there, when you are drawing them in and you're asking them how they are and sort of what their thought process was, that helps them to know you're listening. But if you don't, and you just yell, which I will tell you, I have done 1,000 times and it does not work for the melancholic child. And I have 2 adult children that are melancholic. So you'd think I would have learned the first time. Nope. It can be really hard. It can be hard when they're teenagers and they don't listen. It can be hard when you're trying to get something across to them. It can be hard when you're trying to do lessons. So you've got to make sure you are in a good place with your temperament and you are balanced. When you are, it will be so much easier to work with them. So the phlegmatic child, you just got to sell them on the idea. And sometimes it might be like, yeah, you're going to come with me and there's probably, I don't know, some chips or cupcakes or something involved in that. And, not with candy and stuff, but I'm sort of just giving you an example. I think that they really like to be comfortable. So think about them and how they can be comfortable. So I've written about this before and talked about this before. Samuel, when he was little, if we had someplace we needed to be in the morning, I always made his breakfast in something that could go in the car. Then I wasn't rushing him. I didn't feel angst then. He didn't feel angst. I always made sure he came to the table with his shoes on and his jacket next to him. And then I would serve him his breakfast and then we could pick it up and take it out to the car, because if you have a phlegmatic child, they will take forever to eat if you let them. Unless they're a teenage boy, and then they're just going to wolf it down and then one another. And then 20 minutes later say, can I have some fruit? But they really are, their quality time too. Their quality time, but it's not quality time with you as much as it is quality time with their comfort. So food, being snuggled up in bed, snuggled up with a good book, watching a movie, hot cocoa, like that. Fall is the phlegmatic's time to shine. They love being cozy, fall and winter. So I want you to think about that if this is your child. How can you discipline or Run your family so that you are meeting each of their needs. So your sanguine child is just going to be busy, 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 but they generally take correction really well, and they don't hold a grudge. So they'll forget. And often, like if somebody is correcting me as a choleric, something happens. It's like the sanguine kicks in, because like tomorrow I'll forget that you yelled at me. So I want you to think about that with regards to your children. How are you showing up to them, and how are you expecting them to be? This isn't about sort of, I hear dads sometimes say, and moms too, go, I just need them to listen to me. All right, but you got to meet them halfway, because if you need them to listen to you, you really truly need them to listen to you, and you do, you've got to figure out a way to connect with them. Connection is key. Without connection, you're not going to get anywhere, and you're going to be frustrated. So connection is key. So that's it. If you have any questions, please just let us know.